What is up, Bucs fans? We are back here on a Tuesday night, and we have a live stream going for you guys here at Real Bucs Talk. I'm your host, Michael Plus. Join as always my co-host, Mark Ramirez. Hope everyone's doing well. Feel free to join us here tonight. Bring your questions, comments, and we're just going to go over some Buccaneer news. But first things first, Mark, how are we feeling? How are we doing?
About to be excited for a live stream. It's been a while.
Yep.
I've been lost in translation with Plus. The timing and hasn't been right, but guess what? We made time today, and looking forward to some good Buccaneer conversation. Guys, bring it in the chat. Any questions or concerns? We're going to be doing a lot of, I guess, updates and then just draft talk. I mean, that's what this whole long haul is, right? There's a month left, and this is the nitty gritty, right? Let's see what the hell the Buccaneers need.
Right, absolutely. So, like Mark said, we're going to talk about some news that happened today, and then also we're going to get into some draft scenarios. So, we're going to pull up the mock draft simulator and go through some different scenarios and just give you guys an idea of what the Buccaneers could be thinking. And along the way, we'll make picks as well. So, we'll just see how it plays out. We hope to get your input. And we'll definitely take that into consideration for sure. So, with that said, let's bring up the latest news here. So, the Buccaneers brought back offensive lineman Sua Opeta, which I think is a great move. Again, another depth piece that adds, competition, adds experience, and also is relatively cheap. And that's what the Buccaneers are looking for. I think it's just adding viable depth. So, what do you think of this move? I think this is something we talked about before, and obviously excited to see it happen.
Yeah, we're not making big splash plays, but we're making consistent, quiet moves, like you just said. I mean, it's a guy that was going to compete with Bredesen last year for the starting job. I mean, it was a neck and neck thing going into it, and then he gets hurt like the first week of camp, and now it's Bredesen's is a take, right? So you bring a veteran guy, massive body, back into camp. A guy that's going to want to compete again. He just saw what Bredesen had, and you're one injury away from him starting. So I know we're big fans of Elijah Klein, but still, like, you want a guy that's actually done it in game action, starts under his belt, and there you go. The only missing piece right now is who's the backup center. I know Bredesen has center experience, but you don't really have a backup center. So that's literally the only missing piece that you can see glaring on that depth chart.
Yeah, so that will be, something I think they look at, whether that's probably post draft, try to get a veteran center in there because, Todd Bowles likes to have a dedicated backup center similar to Robert Hainsey. So I think they will, maybe dive into that free agent market once the draft clears. Maybe they draft an interior offensive lineman, that remains to be seen. There are some, centers out there that could be had on day 3. They did talk with a few as far as like pre-draft, combine interviews, stuff like that. So that again, it's just another solid move, something to be excited about as far as, what they brought back. And now they have a guy that they can rely on if needed. Definitely started some games with the Eagles. So that's exciting to have. And just to, refresh your memory, I'll bring up, just some of his game tape here. He's number 78 for the Eagles. So when looking at his film, he was definitely a really good run blocker. And that's something that I think the Buccaneers have emphasized. Pass protection, that's something he can work on. But from a run blocking standpoint, he brings the punch to the table.
Like I said, he's a massive body too, man mover. That's what we wanted to establish last year, right? Like, just getting that running game because we didn't have it. And what do you know? Well, our running game blew up last year. And I mean, Bredesen was almost like the opposite of this guy. He's got the height, but he doesn't have the length and, I guess, size that Opeta has. But hey, he showed it consistently playing. Like, he's a smart man. Like he earned the contract that he got. Opeta just sees the continuity in this offensive line and just the room itself. Like, you've heard Tristan Wirfs say so many good things about just the O-line room, not to mention just the team. It's just whole thing of, like, even Chris Godwin, like, all these guys want to sign and stay here because they don't want to go chase money. They rather be in a place where they feel comfortable and trustworthy in, right? And a guy that can actually find a way to get on the field and show it and then get paid, why not, right? So and if he doesn't get
Mhm.
paid, he'll get paid somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I again, it's just Jason Light is being smart with how he, decides to proceed and move things, make sure he's got quality depth. So that's, that is something that I think he was trying to build last year. Unfortunately, at certain positions, the depth just got hurt, and that cost him from that standpoint. Um, and then want to bring this up as well. If you guys are, still following the channel, be sure to check out our newest video. We have a new film study out there of Jeffrey Bassa, the linebacker out of Oregon. So that dropped today. So be sure to check that out. Give it a like. Again, we appreciate all the support. And feel free to leave some comments in here. If you guys are just joining us, let us know what your thoughts are of today's news and anything else, like, so far what's transpired throughout the off season. We'd love to hear from you guys. Um, so just looking at the depth chart, I think offensively, again, we're pretty much set. I mean, I think it sets you up very well as we get into draft talk of having the options or the flexibility to really attack this draft however you want to. I think most would agree with that.
Yeah, like offensively, besides aging receivers, but then
Yeah,
again, you have Jalen McMillan right in the wings. We all know how much they liked Cameron Johnson last off season.
right.
Barely got like a handful of reps last year. Other than that, like you've got playmakers in youth all over the offensive line, like offense in general. So I
Mhm.
wouldn't be reaching at all at offense. I was listening to some other podcasts earlier. It's like of all the picks, like I think it was what we got 6 picks. 4 of the 6 should be defense. Let's just be flat out about that. Like if there's an
Yeah.
area of concern and weakness, it's on the defensive side, and you've been neglecting that for a little bit. Let's put a little bit more emphasis on there and see what we can do. But offensively, yeah, like we brought everyone back literally just about besides Hainsey, and
Mm.
we're moving forward. But yeah, the defensive side needs its help.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, and that's what really I think sets up this draft as we go into it. When you look at the, probably the biggest, I guess, question mark still remain is what you have at linebacker, what you have at secondary, with your corners and, safety depth overall. I think that's something that you want to see improve and get better. Um, I mean, and that shows as far as what they did throughout free agency. I mean, you get Hassan Reddick. That's the big move where it kind of takes you out of, or not takes you out, but it doesn't force you to draft an edge in the first round.
And like another thing, I heard Greg Allman
Oh,
on
did you lose me?
no, I hear you. Yeah. I heard Greg Allman on I think the Peter Report
Oh, okay.
podcast
All right.
about them saying how I guess Todd Bowles' motto this offseason is about causing turnovers, being ball hawks, right? And I kind of agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a defense that hasn't really forced any turnovers in a while. And this is a defense that's built off of that. Is it our like we've been saying, our gap blitzing that was lack thereof last year and that we need to get that back? Or is it just more true ball hawk DBs that get hands on balls that give you opportunity to intercept the ball? Is it a true edge rusher that can get after it? I like Hassan Reddick, but does it, like you just said, not pigeonhole you not to draft a guy like that? I think that's going to be I guess, what this draft's all about, right? Like a draft that you're going to find guys that want to get after it and cause turnovers. And I think that's going to be something where you're going to see in draft coverage, you're like, oh, look, this guy had this many forced fumbles, or this guy had this many passes deflected, or
Mhm.
interceptions, stuff like that. And I think that'll be telling. Not just like because normally we just get really good guys, but I think it's going to be production showing that they've gotten turnovers in their past.
Right. Yeah, I think that's been an emphasis, especially with how they're going about who they add. And shout out to Jared. Appreciate you checking us out. Thank you for supporting the channel. We appreciate it. So definitely we're going to try our best to continue to give you guys great coverage and hopefully to just continue to improve. And we are able to do that because of what you guys do for us on the channel. So much thank you to you all. Question here from, oh, that's a great name. That is a great name. Do you think Bulls likes Nick Amori in the draft? Crazy athletic safety, good character. Yeah, that's something we can definitely touch on as we will get into the mock draft simulator tonight and kind of go over those scenarios. Um, it depends. I mean, on tape, when you watch him, I think he's got a lot of good characteristics, but he just doesn't have that full development yet. So, again, he's more of an upside pick, kind of that boom or bust type of player. So I don't know if they want to take, that chance. But again, it's something we can discuss as we move forward here. Game on. Good to see you. He says, happy to catch you live. Yeah, we appreciate it. We always see you in the comments, so that doesn't go unnoticed. So with that, Mark, anything else to add before we get into this simulation?
Yeah, the biggest thing is we need to do a film study on Nick. I'm going to pronounce this awfully, but
Yeah.
Worry.
No, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah,
got
I
it.
mean, we just need to do a film study just to see if the potential is there to
Right.
draft a guy like that. I mean, I of all people was ashamed and surprised about us taking Logan Hall. So you never know; it's a possibility.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something you definitely have to look at. So with that said, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, hear the boy.
Yeah, let me get him as you proceed, and I'll be right back.
Okay, no worries. All right. So with that, let's bring this up and I'll kind of just talk this through. So got the mock draft simulator. Let's do I like to kind of keep these settings even. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. But we're mainly just going to try to go through this and talk through things out, as we look at the the options and kind of give you guys different scenarios. Now, for the most part, we're probably not going to see guys that we have talked about extensively be available because it seems like in this, usually the guys that we're kind of targeting or have been mentioning a lot, they usually go before our pick. So um let's see. So yeah, got 7 rounds. Randomness. I mean, I could raise this up a little bit. I don't know. The random. Let's keep it low. Draft for needs. I think that looks good. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll see what happens. Probably not going to trade up. I don't think the Buccaneers want to trade up just because of the limited draft picks that they do have. They have six draft picks. So I don't know if that's going to be a possibility. Do you guys, I mean, let us know. Do you guys think the Buccaneers should be interested in trading up? Or I guess it depends on who becomes available. So yeah, let us know that feedback. I don't think we're going to do something like that in this scenario. We'll probably look at potential trade downs if that becomes an option. So, Jared Cox, appreciate the comment. I really like the move so far, building depth, taking care of our free agents, and addressing the glaring weaknesses, being patient with it all. Lighting company have a plan. Yeah, definitely. I think you can see that just how they're building the team and how they're operating and just doing the smart moves, low risk, high reward type of options. So I think that's really important. So and no trading up. Yeah, I agree with that. Trading down, I think, is definitely on the agenda. Do you think Light will draft a linebacker? Yeah, that's something we can talk about. I don't know if Jahad Campbell or Jalen Walker is going to be available at our pick, but we'll see here in a second. I think the interesting news with Jahad Campbell is he just had surgery for a torn labrum, and that is concerning because those things do take time to heal, take time to, recover from. So that is something that, I think the Buccaneers have to look at. But and it's going to be interesting because if you do take a Jihad Campbell at 19, I think he's in a good position where you can wait on him to come around and maybe earn that playing time later on in the season, or just have as a, you know, very solid depth piece that you don't have to rush in there because you have other guys, other veterans at that linebacker room that can, handle the load for when the time comes that he is ready. And like Mark has said many times with me on this channel or in, chat, it's like, what if Levante, drops off all of a sudden? Like, who else do you have? So those are important factors to think about for sure.
So you're talking the inside linebacker, and if it's
Yeah.
even possible in the first round.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, and I, talking about Jihad Campbell, and the torn labrum is concerning. He just had surgery on that. You hope that heals, but that takes time to recover. I mean, as a former physical therapist, like how extensive that rehab can be.
Yeah, I mean anything cartilage wise is going to be a while. It's lack of
Yeah.
blood flow to the area. I mean, there's going to be ample enough time for him to recover before the start of the season.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, it's just the instincts and the ability that gives you on the field. I mean, I think that a coach like Todd Bowles will be able to use him in different fashions. But again, based off of how poor this draft class is, he's going to get drafted higher based off of ability and just athleticism in itself. Like he can be used at edge or at middle linebacker, and some people may see him more as an edge and just draft him based off of that, right? So, I mean, would I like him? Yes. Do I think the labrum thing's going to be something that's going to hinder you from taking him in the first round? No. I think at 19 specifically, yeah, if you're in the top 10, you're like, I have so many issues. You shouldn't be looking at an inside linebacker.
Right.
Bucs shouldn't have been looking at one in the top 5 years ago, but they did it. But it's I think at 19 is a good spot, but like a lot of other people have been saying, the Falcons need edge rush too. They need a guy like him too. So it's like
Right.
all NFC South teams need literally what we need. So it's frustrating. So they're probably going to get him.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this started. Like I was telling the the fans in the chat, like most likely we're not going to see players that we have been talking about, just because it seems like in this simulation they tend to go pretty early. But let's go ahead and get it started, and we'll just kind of go through scenarios that we see come up. Okay, and here we go. We'll go ahead and get it started. And I saw Jihad Campbell went pretty early. So we do have a Ezraku here, so that does help a little bit. But let's go back to the top. So, so as you see, like Travis Hunter going number 1 probably doesn't happen. It's probably going to be Cam Ward, with the Giants taking, they just signed Russell Wilson today.
And
Ashton Genty, what? And Jameis, yeah.
I mentioned that.
So like right here, Jahai Campbell going 6 overall, most likely isn't going to happen. Tetro McMillan, Mike Green, I could see that to the Saints. Shamar Stewart. Let's see who else.
Graham with Derek Brown would be nasty.
Yeah, that would be a great scenario for the Panthers. It would suck for the Bucs offensive line, but it's it's all good. Jalen Walker, again, he's one that could go as high as like top 10. I could see him going, here in the top 15 for sure. Will Johnson. So like, here's a good question, or good, question for the fans or Mark. If Will Johnson is here at gets to this range here, like 17, could the Buccaneers potentially trade up and go get someone like that? I mean, I guess it just depends. Do you feel Will Johnson is like that type of game changer type talent? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. He has been, struggled with injuries as well. But when he's on the field, he's one of the best. He's a playmaker.
Yeah, but I mean, playing into what I just said, turnovers, guys that are ball hawks, like that is Will Johnson. Like,
yeah,
He's looking at the quarterback. He's reading routes. He's jumping, and there's no thinking twice. It's just I'm going. I'm reacting.
Mm,
I mean, there's a reason why he had pick sixes and a lot of interceptions. So would they? If it's just two picks, I can see Jason Light doing that. But I mean, they traded up one for Wirfs.
yeah.
Like, why would you even do that? But
Right.
I can see it very much likely. But that's if that guy's on the board. Like
Right.
they always move up if their guy is right there within reach. It's
Mm,
not going to be a 5 to 10 reach. I think 2 to 3 is more their range. But
yeah.
Jason Light loves his pick, so it's not going to be high likely that he trades up very much, especially in the first round.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a great question here by Timmy Tentos. What position do you guys want to see the Bucs address in the first round? I think we kind of touched on it. Personally, for me, I'm just best defensive player you can get. That's how I see it. I don't really have a preference. I think for the most part, all their spots are in good position if they're healthy. They have guys there to play, but it's like, what can you add to that? I don't see anyone, that's going to be like over the top, as far as talent available, but they can get a really good defensive player that can help them for sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, I
Yeah.
it's hard to say position because you don't know who's going to be available. That's the only
Right.
thing that sucks with the draft, right? So if it Will Johnson's there, I would say the guy that can create the most possibility of a turnover.
Mm,
I mean, whether that be an edge rusher, a DB that can get hands on balls, I don't want to pigeonhole to one position. I mean, it
right.
could be an inside linebacker that can be used in an edge rusher fashion too. So you can't really just say one because you don't know who's available. That's the frustrating part.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, good comment here by Rampage. He says I would take Burden here as an option. Luther Burden, the wide receiver, would be a really fun player. He's got really good separation ability, solid route runner, good hands catcher, explosive with the ball in his hands. So that would be a fun one. But just your thoughts on adding a receiver in round one. I know it's that's a touchy subject there.
No,
Yeah.
pass. I mean,
Yeah.
not like you see the room, you see how much you just invested in it
Mm,
as well, not just through the draft, but just monetarily just weeks ago.
right.
I think it would be a poor front office decision to do that again. And yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah, JC Allen brings up a good point. He talks about it's either Tedero McMillan or you pass on a receiver in round one, and I agree with that. I think McMillan's obviously the top receiver in this class. He's really good. So if for some reason he falls, then I could see that potential there, or maybe you use that player and trade down because another team wants McMillan and maybe pays you for that player. So I think
Hell, I've
that
even
would be.
seen people take tight ends, and I'm like, what? Why? I mean, 19 again. OJ Howard is the only thing I think of. He was a pick 19 too, and he had every athletic ability, just didn't use him correctly. And
Yeah.
here he goes.
Good point here by John V. So Luther Burden has some headaches as far as just his character and with his personal family. So that could be another reason why Buccaneers probably pass on him because they're big on character. So with that said, let's get into this pick because this is going to take us forever. Let's, I think when looking at the options, it probably comes down to either Ezraku or Malachi Starks. There's some other interesting names. Michael Williams doesn't have the production, but has a lot of potential as far as traits.
Yeah,
So
pull him up. It's someone we haven't talked about much, but look at his
Michael,
size.
yeah,
Pull him up. Let's see. Do they have a little profile on him? There you go.
they do. Yeah, it's just loading here. So I mean, he's graded well. He just doesn't have. Let me go to
Our
the.
first look there.
Yeah, here's the numbers. So, like 5 sacks this past season, six.
But he was playing hurt too.
He was. He
Hurt
was playing hurt.
first game of the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. So measurables, 6'5", 265. So big, strong player, plays with power. Good, very good run defender. Pass rush, I think he has the ability. It just hasn't shown up as far as production. So that's what you're kind of leaning into.
And so, I mean, the whole thing is you're looking at it, like I just mentioned, best ball hawk or guy that's going to cause turnovers. Is it going to be an edge rusher, which we have two guys, I would say Michael Williams and Ezraku,
Mm-hmm.
or Malachi Starks? In that scenario, I'm thinking one of the two of Ezraku or Malachi Starks along with you.
Yeah.
Walter Nolan, a lot of issues off the field too.
Right.
James Pierce Jr., same thing. I think he has off the field issues too.
Yeah.
Ranking wise, Malachi Starks, I think, is like one of the most clean players, but Ezraku literally thinks the game extremely well. I think it'd be great to have the possibility of taking one of those two if it were me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. So for this scenario, we'll just keep it simple. We'll go Ezraku, just because I think he makes sense because you're building for the future and you can't have enough pass rushers. And I think that's something that Jason Light has talked about. It's important to, stock that position because let's say Hassan Reddick gets hurt. Let's say, Yaya Diaby, one of these guys, if they go down, then you're kind of in the same boat that you were in last year. So you want to have multiple pass rushers that can win one-on-ones. And just imagine it. You could have Ezraku, you could have Hassan Reddick playing on each side, and then you shift Yaya Diaby inside, and then have Kalijah Cansey pass rushing as your defensive tackles. Like that creates so much havoc and can really benefit you from that standpoint. So I don't think it would be an issue of getting him on the field. I think they can find ways to get him on the field quite often. And same thing with Braswell. Like you can get these guys on the field. So I don't think that would be an issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and take him here.
Well, I was going to say this.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, your assessment, everything. The Chris Braswell thing is an issue, though, to me. But I was also going to play devil's advocate and see like why you would take Malachi Starks over him. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, just the interchangeability of all your nickel cornerbacks,
Right.
safeties. You can use Tyke, Antoine Winfield Jr., and Starks in a variety of different ways. Guys are very familiar playing with each other. All three will be ball hawk players. Guys you want causing turnovers. Okay, yeah, you got Hassan Reddick, but like you just said, like, do they truly trust Chris Braswell to develop this year? Or do you get a guy that you know has put up production
Yeah.
and put him in a montage of nasty rotation of edge rushers? I mean, you just saw it in the Super Bowl. You need guys that get after the pass, and that fits the bill.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, again, here in round two, I think this is a spot where if we sort this to cornerback, I think we'll definitely be interested in that position. I think we'll put linebacker on there, and maybe safety, just because we were thinking about it with Malachi Starks, who would again be a tremendous addition. But so when looking at this, I think the sweet spot is corner here in round two. I think again you have a lot of good linebackers as well. So really, it's just kind of preference. We have Chris Paul Jr. I know we like him a lot.
Hot dog.
But at corner, you have guys like Darian Porter, who we discussed, Azarie Thomas. So I mean, how do we see this one playing out here?
I mean, there's no secret. I've got a man crush on Chris Paul Jr.
Right.
Like one of my top guys. Carson Schwarzenegger is amazing. Demetrius Knight, another athlete. I mean, I think a linebacker needs to be a priority this draft.
Right.
I think you said second round should be corner. I'm thinking it should be linebacker. I would be looking at one of the three linebackers in this position.
Okay.
Because, yeah, like I don't want to draft a linebacker at 19, but I could see them reaching just based off of need and a player that fits what they want to do. Like that's usually what Jason Light does. Like it's more the player himself, like the man, and then
Yeah.
does it fit what they want to do with their scheme or defense, whatever the hell it is.
Okay.
And I mean, I would choose. I mean, me personally, Chris Paul Jr. But
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
one of the
let's change it up here a little bit. They are going to have Demetrius Knight in for a visit. Um, so I mean, obviously they have shown a lot of interest in him. They've already met with him at the combine. They met with him at the Senior Bowl. So there's been multiple discussions there. So I'm thinking we go with Demetrius Knight here at a guy that kind of fits the scheme as far as run defense. He can be that blitzer. He can do things in coverage as well. So I think that would be a very good pick. So we'll go ahead and do that. But that's kind of just our thought process. You can kind of see, corner linebacker being the options on day 2. And hopefully we get a corner here or maybe a safety in the 3rd round. Don't know if corner fell our way here. Let me see. Yeah, so we got, Kobe Bryant is one that they like a lot. Dorian Strong, Noel Williams. Again, some of these guys could be there on day 3.
which is
Okay.
wild. Williams got 7 interceptions last year too.
He did. Yeah. Yeah. He's a good player. Kind of fits their cover 3 mold.
I think he's like 6'1"
Um,
too, so I think he's got the
yeah.
length.
Yeah. I mean, the value right now is looking at safety. Kevin Winston Jr. is kind of a good fit here because again, he's coming off an injury. So it's unfortunate. It just seems like all the secondary players get hurt, but he really did well in 2023. He's got good ability as far as tackling, good downhill type of player. He's got, sideline to sideline range. So, I mean, he would be a good pick.
I think old Trevor Sikkema, our boy,
Yeah.
and they had him as like their ranked number 1 above Malachi Starks.
They did have him high, and that was before this season.
Draft.
So, yeah. So he would be someone I think you could find, very interesting. Let's see. Let's get to the comics here. There's a lot of. Let me see what they got here. JC Allen says Dorian Strong, Kobe Bryant, Winston Jr. Yeah, I think all of those would be good fits. Do we want to just keep it best available? Let's see what we have any trades. No, that's too far back. I want to jump up like 30 spots.
Jordan Birch, I'm a fan of.
Jordan Birch would be interesting. He's kind of that hybrid mold. He could maybe play defensive tackle.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, he would be like, to me, he's
Logan
what
Hall.
he's what they wanted from Logan Hall, but he's a lot better. Like he plays the game much better. So yeah, I would be a fan of him. I think he would be a good 5 tech that you could add and build depth. So I'll leave that one up to you. I mean, we can definitely look at. I mean, this is someone that I know around like Bucs mock drafts, like he hasn't been talked about.
I like his size, speed combination, and interchangeability. Like you just said, you can play him inside, you can play him outside.
Right.
It's almost like how William Golson was in the beginning of his career. He was an edge rusher, and then they moved him inside.
Right.
So and he's already 6'6", 295. Does he put on more weight?
Yeah.
I like it, but we already took an edge rusher. Do we need even more in there?
Yeah.
I think we still need a defensive. Look at the defensive tackles. This is a good defensive tackle class.
Yeah, it is. Let's look at. So it looks like a lot of them went early. Jamari Caldwell is, my favorite.
I wouldn't put him in the 3rd round.
Right. Aeneas Peebles is pretty good. He's just smaller. Yeah, Deion Walker, I just think he's not a Buccaneer fit. He's just lazy and just kind of slobbish. Yeah. There's some guys here in the like late day 3 you could look at, like this guy here, Cam Horsley, I think is interesting. So that could be a position we get later. But just looking at best available, what is the exact measurements for Jordan Birch? I want to bring that up real quick. Let me see. But so are we thinking either Jordan or are we going with Winston Jr. here?
Just based off of need, I would put Kevin Winston Jr.
Right. Yeah. Add a secondary playmaker. I think he's a good fit next to Antoine Winfield. So let's go ahead and go with him. So we got safety, we got linebacker, edge. I mean, that's a pretty solid draft so far. And look at that, Kobe Bryant
There you go.
made it.
Birch.
Oh, there you go.
280.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's pretty good size, and I could see them, maybe being interested in him for sure because he's plays it the right way, good character, smart football player. I think that's most important. So the board fell pretty generously here. I think we got good options to attack. Kobe Bryant is definitely, he's a fun player. He's got plenty of ball production. I have to bring this back up. Hold on. Remove. There we go. So Kobe Bryant is here, and again, he kind of fits their mold. I think they met with him as well. Got, what is that? 11 interceptions in the last 3 years, which is really good. Graded out pretty well. And, he fits the size. He's at 6 foot. He's a little small.
Yes, get your weight up.
Yeah, he's got to get his weight up. I think he measured in, I think he was like in the 180s. So that's something he's got to work on and, definitely improve.
He'd scare you. He ran a 4.53.
Yeah, but I think he's got the initial quickness, which is important. I think that's what benefits you. And, JC's talking about his versatility, so he can play in the slot as well. So I think you have to like that because Buccaneers are looking for depth there in addition to what they have. So I think this would be a good pick. Trying to see if there's any other players that stand out. Don't see them taking a running back. I don't see any other positions. I mean, maybe wide receiver here, but I don't think the wide receiver class is very good. Tight end, I know has been discussed, but I think they're okay at tight end. I know, some have talked about maybe upgrading over Payne Durham, but I think you just kind of like let that ride out and see what happens there.
I mean, Devin Culp too. Let him mature.
Right.
Get his body right. So he's a full-time tight end, not just a gadget receiving tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, I am for the Kobe Bryant pick because I mean, there's one guy that was at Kansas that popped off. It was him. Like if you look at like just in general, like highlights and stuff that you look over on YouTube on a guy. Oh, who the hell is this Kansas player? When does Kansas ever get good football players? And
right. That keeps
like,
leap.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And he didn't run a 4.3. I can tell you that. But Kobe Bryant's also not 6'2". So
yeah. This is Noel Williams. I mean, he kind of fits their size profile. He's got more weight to him. He's got, the size, and he plays the run very well. Good tackler, can make things happen. Kind of fits their mold as far as cover 3 type of corner. Good in zone. So that would be a good pick. But let's go ahead and we'll go with Kobe Bryant just because that's an awesome name. It's just a great name. So, and I see your super chat there. We'll get to it in a second here. Just want to.
And I fully agree with
it. All right. Meets McGee, man. Appreciate all the support. So not sold on Jahad Campbell. He doesn't fight through the trash like I see with Chris Paul. And where's Braden Swinson projected? So yeah, that's a great point. I think Jahad Campbell, I think he has a lot of ability as far as like his coverage instincts and, his ability to get downhill in a hurry when he sees the play. I think what he lacks is just that overall anticipation when he's coming downhill and kind of reading, the run fits and stuff like that. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. So just kind of building that consistency. And we agree with you. We do like Chris Paul. We love what he brings to the game. So and then as far as Braden Swinson, yeah, he's one of the rising edge players and could definitely go pretty early. As high as most likely round 2 player for sure.
I mean, the thing is, like, we fall in love with a lot of these players and see them like go to other teams, blah blah blah. But I mean, a lot of it's just like I've been saying earlier. It's do they fit what they want to do,
Mm,
right? I mean, no one. I don't know how many people wanted Devin White top 5, but he fit what the hell this team defense needed. Todd Bowles needed an inside linebacker that could fly and
yeah,
cover and just cause havoc in the middle of that defense. And he did do that. It was just one trick pony. Do they find that in this draft? Hopefully, we're not in the first round or they don't trade up for that.
right.
Well, I mean, that's what that defense needs, right? And he's been molding his defense to be different. I mean, Kalijah Kancey was not the mold of player that we heard that he likes at defensive tackle, but he gets after the quarterback. He finds a way to use him creatively, puts him outside, stands him up. Like, I just think Todd Bowles is creative enough on defense that he can get a guy like Jihad Campbell and put him anywhere. Like, it could be dropping back, it could be edge rush, it could be A gap blitzes. It's just the ability this guy brings you of athleticism, size, all the traits you want that a good coach that knows how to scheme things up, half second think the guy's already there. So
Yeah.
I think it's that's the part where he's probably getting Todd Bowles salivating of how he can get him to the quarterback or just confuse offenses.
Mm. Yeah, for sure. He's that versatile piece that I think definitely is intriguing. We still have to look at Jalen Walker. I know that's going to be a film study here in the future. We'll definitely get to him. We'll get to, Will Johnson, and I think there's another name we talked about who we wanted to do film study. Was it Jordan Birch? I think.
The safety from
Yeah, Kevin Winston.
no, Nick
Or no, Nick and Mawari. Yeah, yeah. So we'll definitely get to those guys for sure. We're trying to get to as many as the top 100 guys that are most likely going to be the top few picks here. Um so with the options here, I'm liking a couple of players. I really like Jalen Lane and Ty Felton. We talked about them. Ty Felton, I'm really surprised he's here, but that's a good player, a good football player that you could add offense now. Connor Colby is someone that the chat is mentioning. Simeon Barrow as well, the defensive lineman out of Miami. So
click him.
I yeah,
Clicked him up.
yeah.
Go to
Had
first
good
look.
production, 7 sacks last year.
Jeez.
Yeah, 6'3", 290. They don't have a scouting summary yet. I'll have to tell Trevor. I'm like, work on that.
Trevor, stop
Yeah,
sitting on those hands.
but
Trending Curry's wow.
from the numbers, I mean, he's did pretty well for himself. 11.3 pass rush win weight, so that's not bad.
Yeah, so I mean, another thing with Bucks drafts that I know I say like they look for needs, but they don't press for the need.
Yeah.
Like usually you're like, oh, why did they take him? But it's actually a good pick because
Mm,
it's a good, like I said, fits what the hell they wanted to do, not necessarily the need. So like, I know
yeah.
we're doing a lot of defensive players, but you never damn know with the Buccaneers. Like
Yeah.
they like the person more than they do like the damn position, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Ty Felton, speed
Yeah.
burn.
He's good. I'm leaning towards Felton just because this is probably a steal. I don't know if he'll last this long. He's a very solid receiver. I think he's got all the traits, got the size, got the speed for sure, and production. He had plenty of production last year. His best season, 96 catches, over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Um,
Just because I
Play,
want, can you check defensive tackle again?
yeah, yeah. Let's take a look. Defensive tackle. Let me bring that back up.
I know. Let's see. Boom.
So you got Tonka Hemingway, I think they met with. Junior Tafana, I think that's how you say it. Thor Griffin, just because of the name, but he's another one.
But Zeke Biggers is a massive individual.
Yeah, his name fits the bill. Like this guy is a pure like zero tech, can play 5 tech, he can do it all. But yeah, he's a big boy.
Like
he just needs development though. He's got a lot of size. He just needs more consistency with his overall game.
nose tackle and 3-4 front.
Yeah. But yeah, he's interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, like you just said though, he can be had later day 3.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you take this one plus.
All right. Well, we'll leave it to the chat. Who are we thinking? Who are we thinking in the chat? Who do we want the most? Is it going to be Ty Felton?
QB of the future.
Yeah. Do we go quarterback? Let's see. Who are the quarterbacks? You got Kyle McCord. He's interesting. The guy from Louisville, I think, is going to go a lot higher.
Yeah.
So, but I'm kind of leaning Ty Felton. I could be swayed with the Miami kid, but
Jared said build
the is all right. Should we keep going defense, or do we want to look at offensive line?
So I mean, what is the reason for interior offensive line right now? A long snapper, Timmy.
I mean, usually they draft tackles and they move them inside.
Yeah.
Small
school tackle. Where's he at?
Yeah. I mean, Logan Brown, he's got some good size to him. Emory Jones is supposed to be a better fit at interior offensive line. But yeah, I don't know. Jackson Slater is probably the best one available, I think, out of the bunch. Let me see if he's still here. Let's see. He's rated a little bit lower. Don't see him. He must have got moved up in the rankings, maybe. Let me see. Jackson. Oh, there he is. 217. But he's a good player. He can play pretty much all the interior spots.
I agree with Jared right there. We just re-signed Opeta and have the rookie from last year and Klein.
Yeah.
I don't see the reason for interior offensive line. A center, maybe. But I think, like you said earlier in the live stream, they're going to want to get a veteran center. You don't want to have another mishap like the end of the Washington Capitals game. Commanders game. It's such a pain in the ass saying that.
Yeah.
Commanders game where the botch snap with Graham Barton. You want inexperience there. You want some experience. So I think no matter what, I'm always going to look for defensive tackles, defensive line.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go with the best one here then. We'll go with the kid out of Miami. I mean, last time the Bucs took a kid out of Miami at defensive line, it turned out pretty well. So we'll go ahead and do that. Can't go wrong with adding more Florida players. So, and now we have the long wait because we don't have a 6th-round pick. So we'll see what's available here in the 7th round, but yeah, not much. Let's see what we picked so far. We'll kind of recap. So first round, we went with Donovan Ezraku. Again, another high-end edge rusher that can come in and provide, just depth and pressure and eventually be your future starter. Demetrius Knight, a good linebacker, downhill, kind of athletic build that can get sideline to sideline, do a lot of different things. Kevin Winston Jr., good strong safety to pair up with Antoine Winfield Jr., kind of allows Tyke Smith to play multiple spots. Kobe Bryant, again, another versatile cornerback that can play inside and outside and can also create turnovers. And then last pick was Simeon Barrow Jr., defensive lineman out of Miami. So that's our draft so far.
So there's actually pretty good comments in the chat about JC Allen was saying that Opeta wasn't a lock.
Right.
And or was it somewhere else? I think Rampage was saying like our backups suck. And I was thinking, it's like truly, Jason Light usually drafts like a lineman, at least one
Mhm.
lineman every draft. It's like almost
Right.
one lineman or one receiver every draft. But it goes to your point of it's usually a tackle that they move inside or a guy that can play swing, whatever. But
Yeah.
I just think they signed their swing tackle. Sano Petabacchia may not be a lock, but I think Klein's going to take a step forward. I liked a lot of what I saw from him last year. Haggard can play both inside and outside too, I think.
Yeah.
I just think they have a lot of in-house options right now. So, but if there is a guy that they think is better, you always got to sharpen the bottom of the roster to make the top better. So, I mean, good points. It's just I think they do have a lot. I don't think our backups suck that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good JC Allen talked about adding safety offensive players. Someone in the chat mentioned Jimmy Horn Jr. as a potential
Ooh,
special teams player, returner, again on the smaller size.
damn, we're old. That's his son, right? No,
I
never
think
mind.
so.
That's Joe. I was thinking Joe Horn.
Well, I mean, it could still be his son. I'm pretty sure they're related. Maybe not. I don't know.
Oh no, not that old, are we?
I do agree with this comment. I think we do need to find a return player.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. Oh, well, he's actually talking about depth. I'm sorry. I saw someone talk about kick return. Um, oh yeah, it was Steven. Steven was talking about our last returner, but that was also a really good comment by Timmy. He was talking about the solid roster and depth is definitely there. I agree there.
Well, I mean, let's
Elijah
think.
Badger. Yeah, that would be another good pick.
Yeah, seventh round. This is a toss up. Usually, these are guys that is
You
going to
just
be.
want to, yeah, you want a good athlete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whether
So
it's a gunner, whether
here's
it's a returner.
yeah, here's Elijah Badger, and I think he did some returns at Florida. Again, he's got good size, good player, good speed. Doesn't drop the ball, which is good. Trying to think if there's any other. Yeah, I don't know. Help me out, chat. Who's a good kickoff returner that we could get?
That's the question.
Yeah.
Is the question. Let's see.
Does Jimmy Horn return? Like if he's a good returner, but
In South Florida, he had 7 for 209, 29 and a half. It's almost 30-yard return average and a touchdown.
Jimmy Horn did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, based on that, we're gonna go with Jimmy. It's in the blood. So we're gonna do that. We'll go ahead and draft him. And we'll see what kind of grade we get. I don't know. It'll be hopefully we get a good grade, but
F.
yeah, probably will be. So first round pick got an A plus, so that's important. Overall, we got an A, so
There you go.
pretty good. So let us know what you guys think, Bucs fans. Let us know it.
Let us know how bad we did.
Yeah, screenshot. Talk about it on Twitter. You can say Real Bucs Talk did this, and it was awful.
Couldn't believe what they did.
Yeah. So
I am hoping for a returner though, big time. I think either way that there's a lot of needs that were met there. Secondary, I almost wonder if they draft more secondary players based off of do they want to revamp that as opposed to get more defensive line players.
yeah,
I think no matter what, they need an interior linebacker, but do they focus more on interior or defensive line or secondary in this draft? That's going to be the telling question. But it's again, does it fall the way it falls?
Yeah, good point here by Timmy. Sean Tucker did do a good job as a kickoff returner, so I do like that. Steven, not a fan of Knight Jr. That's understandable. We have our favorites. We've talked about. I'll bring up his clips here. We've talked about this guy plenty. Chris Paul Jr. a lot. He's just fun, exciting. He's got that real burst right off the line of scrimmage. The thing with him is he's just smaller. You know,
Yeah.
he doesn't have the arm length, doesn't have the size, but he's got everything else. You know, instincts, ability to read, ability to play in space, doesn't miss tackles. So again, I think he will be a fan. He'll be a lot of fans' favorites as far as other teams looking for linebackers.
And he's just a guy that has a motor that runs hot, team player, will take
Yeah.
on guards, even though he's smaller. Like I just overall like, and that's one thing he even said. He's like, "What's one thing that coaches told you need to work on?" It's like taking on guards, even though
Mm.
you're smaller. Like a guy that knows that he has to get nitty gritty to make the team defense work, not just be the guy. And I think that's what we're going to need, like a guy that
Yeah.
can be a contributor in all facets, not just, oh, you get after the quarterback or just hit the running back in the running game. Like we need someone that's going to do everything. And I just like Chris Paul in that fashion.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, agreed. Chris Paul, he's really fun. So yeah, I mean that was our draft there. We kind of went through scenarios. We went through the first round, like if certain guys are there or not there. I think they're going to have a choice of Donovan Ezraku. I think Jahad Campbell is going to be there. I think they're going to have a choice of one of those guys. Malachi Starks, I think, has potential to be there, but I also think he's one of the best players in this draft, which he could easily go top, top 15 for sure.
And what is he,
Um,
20 years old?
he's a young player,
Yeah.
and again, he's just really good. Not a lot of holes in his game. I mean, when we watched the tape, there wasn't really much flaws we saw, on tape. So there was
A
a
lot
lot
of
of good
it's
things.
angles, like
Yeah,
angles to the ball. I mean,
right.
sometimes, yeah, but that's the thing. If you're playing a defense that is all about attacking,
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes the angle is, yeah, it's a massive importance. But if you're the attacker, I mean, you're just trying to hit the guy, not necessarily be the one deep safety. Maybe he's not most in tune to be a deep safety.
yeah,
Have him using the nickel in a strong safety role, and he could be using an outside corner role too. So it's like I like the interchangeability of him, especially with Tyke Smith, who he's played with before at Georgia, and then you can find creative ways to use um, Winfield. I mean, Winfield's done literally everything. He got hurt last year, and everyone forgets. But let's see. Let's see the healthy guy and that guy that can be interchanged and moved around.
right.
I think you're going to find another safety that they can use in that fashion. But will it be a high pick, or will they find a Tyke Smith like
Yeah,
last year, third round?
yeah. If I had to guess, I think they're gonna. I know Andrew. I think it was Andrew Mabuka was there in the third round. He's a kid out of Texas. He's kind of that free safety mold, and I think they might want another one like that can play center high and do some ball hawking type things where they can move Antoine Winfield more around and use him more towards the line of scrimmage. So I think that would be fun, to look at. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think that's gonna wrap it up for us. I think we went through a lot of
tomorrow.
there is no tomorrow, that is for sure. We did a lot of different scenarios. We went through first round picks, and I think that is something that we could kind of see the Buccaneers playing into. Heavy defense early, addressing secondary needs, addressing the linebacker position, and adding good talent. Now, what we haven't done, and maybe we'll do this in a future episode, is kind of go through what if the Buccaneers go, offense in one of those picks and kind of look at different players from that aspect and see, what could they add as far as offensively goes, because sometimes the value just plays that way. But right now, I feel like most of the value is going to lean towards defense because that's where you can really add your depth. Because right now, you feel confident about the depth that they have offensively right now. I mean, you got to feel good about it.
Yeah, and defensively, yeah, you brought Bryce Hall back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, bearing injury, he could have been like a good number 3 corner, potentially pushing Dean. Dean, he's going to get hurt, but still, he is a good corner when on the field. But the thing is, like I said, like, are they going to try and find a way to revamp what they have and just bring an influx of youth in the secondary, or are they going to look for pass rusher, inside linebacker? No matter what, it should be inside linebacker. It should be either day 1 or day 2. It just flat out. It should be. Like if they wait for day 3 to take an inside linebacker, I think that'd be a travesty. Like point blank. I'm not pushing for first round, but
Right.
hey, they find their way to get their guy, and if it's their guy, it's their guy. But I don't know. I'm interested to see like how they go about this. If it's more of a revamp of secondary because of age or just not getting out of there, or if it is just the ball hawk type guys, if anywhere on defense.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. So that was a lot of fun. We went through a lot of different scenarios. And again, like Timmy says, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Subscribe if you're new here. We appreciate all the support. Hit the like button, leave us comments, leave us, what you thought of our mock draft. We love to hear it. And let us know if there's any specific players that you guys want us to look at. We have Demetrius Knight Jr. on the docket. Where he's going to have a film study. We got some more guys that we're going to try to get up to. And, hopefully we can get Emmanuel from South Carolina. We'll look into him, Jalen Walker, etc. And we'll continue to hit out some of these big names that have been discussed and try to show you guys, how do they fit with the Buccaneers? How do they fit with the other NFL teams, and what they do well and what they do best. So with that said, hope you guys enjoy the show. Be sure to, again, hit that like button and check us out on YouTube. And we'll be back sometime soon. I'm not sure when we're going to go live next, but we'll be back before you guys know it. And then all of a sudden it'll be draft time, and we'll be here talking the draft live with you all. And very excited to have some guests lined up. We have some big names, some names that you guys know. So we're really interested and excited to get that going. So with that said, everyone have a great night. And Mark, you got any last words?
A quick little tidbit. We have things in the works what we're going to try and do to build more of a community and like get more one-on-one with you guys. So stay tuned for that. It's something that we think is going to be kind of cool. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, I missed it. So we're going to find a way where you can't miss it. It's more of like a notification to you guys, and then just more interactive, because like it's hard to get to every comment, but I do like this atmosphere of like people talking to each other in the chat, where we can have a whole community of everyone talking together like nonstop, and not just like a Facebook group, but like YouTube, everyone together in an area where we can just send things to you. So look out for that. I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that said, everyone have a great night, and we'll see you on the next one. Go Bucs.
Woo!